When I published my last English book in 2002, that was after 1992 book where I discussed the mini company and then expanding that idea in the book Results from the Heart in 2002, where I got the foreword by Dalai Lama. The background is to go deeper into Buddhist idea or Zen idea or nature's phenomena called the Jijimuge, which I can talk more about, is in the Kegon philosophy or Avatamsaka Sutra. Maybe nobody knows that, but the idea is known as the pinnacle of Mahayana Buddhism by Daisetsu Suzuki, whom I studied very large amount of time and energy to go through it. And that's another story, but I was so attracted to his personality, his being, and the influence he had. And he mentioned that the pinnacle of Mahayana Buddhism is in the Kegon. So when I practiced at the time without knowing about Kegon, the idea of the mini company so that the people can be empowered to be the master of their own destiny within the company, that they are seen as the mini company president, whether you are at the CEO level or department or unit or even as an individual, you have a mission to accomplish to work at the company. And within his area of responsibility, he can create his own mini company, or mini company, by understanding the customer-supplier relationship, understanding the mission, understanding the concept of plan, do, check, act, continuously improving, going through the cycle of PDCA or CAPD, I call it, starting from check to know what is really happening, and coming up with the idea, which is very similar, if not identical, to Sila Samadhi Panna, the right conduct, Samadhi, calm and quiet mind, come up with the idea or insight of Panna. So given that basic managerial framework and my view that the people at the shop floor level or ground level all the way is to be empowered or have the feeling of being the mastery of his area of responsibility, whatever the case is. If he's a production worker, he's got the customer, his supplier, he has a supervisor, and he has tools to work with, and that's his mini company. Later I call it the mini universe in a different setting, in a larger setting, but the concept is to know how you operate and what the mission, how you relate with each other and manage and continuously improve by bringing in your skill, have the ownership, but also accountability so that even the bankers, your bosses, understand why he does what he does and how to prove, even to write the annual report and share it and have it known to others with the idea of glass ball management so that the whole process of people's involvement is made visible so that there's no boundaries to prevent the information from being shared. So what's important is visible, red and green, red or green, and people walking by can understand what the situation is so that that's how the organization can be empowering people with a good leadership to have the goal congruence for customer satisfaction in such areas: quality, cost, delivery, safety, moral, environment. However you want to call, and share that throughout the whole organization to move forward. So that's 2002, starting from 1992, and before that, 1987, I wrote a waste elimination book called the New Manufacturing Challenge, Manufacturing Values, not just in production. So there's a series of those events, and then having Dalai Lama's foreword supporting my idea related to Kegon, interpenetration, or Jijimuge, I can talk more about, has the same element of empowerment and bring out the wisdom. Not just work related and in the organization or company or non-profit organization, whatever the case is, but rather living as a human being. So the concept of the mini company then is now switched or expanded or went deeper into each individual's framework of how I live, for example. And there's me, and there's me, my department of me, which is responsible, say, on health or relationship or finance, hobby, whatever that is. And I want to be sincere and truthful to bring out those departments work together, have a mission shared and accomplished. So the idea of the mini company is now extended or internally practiced in the mini-me idea. There's mini-me and mini-me. mini. But it's not mini. For that person in that department, is the whole universe where you're operating. But again, we cannot be self-centered. So we have this customer-supply relationship with each other, from the me to mini-me and mini-me to among mini-me's, as much as we see it in our body, the kidney and the lung and heart and all the organs work together without anybody supervising how they should work. So that's the magic of nature, and they work together, which is the harmonious orientation of customer supplier, because everything depends on each other and connected to each other. So there shouldn't be a boundary. And I shared about the thought of Prince Shotoku from almost 2,000 years ago. And he developed this 17 constitutions, 17 items of constitution. And the important thing is have a harmony as a principle of management or something of that nature. And I didn't think much about it. I knew about that constitution, but I realized later also because of Daisetsu pointing Shotoku somewhere, that's the soul of where we came from and how we manifest the idea of Avatamsaka Sutra, Jijimuke, harmony of all the elements, so that there's no boundary idea, customer satisfaction idea, interpenetration, that each of us have the same principle operating like a mini-me or mini-company and relate to each other. Therefore, there should be harmony. You're not self-centered, not egotistical. And how much of an impact that had, nobody can guess. But as much as Daisetsu mentioned that, I felt, really, that's interesting. Maybe because Japan being the place isolated in the island from the rest somewhat with the ocean, so they have this cultivating culture of helping each other without being threatened by others as much. So they nurtured that concept for the next 1500 years or more. And it can go wrong if you aim for the wrong thing at the top level and people believe in it. But the whole harmony idea still exists. And as I travel from the US to New Zealand or then to Japan, I'm going there soon, it's there. And that's the sense of clarity, care, respect. And it's not that easy to be harmonious. Because Japanese has the egocentric nature in somewhere, of course. I shouldn't say of course, but we all are concerned about our own security, avoid the problem coming from outside. So as in the Maslow's hierarchy of need, at the lowest level, subsistence level, we want to be alive. So it may be seen as egotistical, but it's following the nature. But as we evolve, we can see things better, relate to each other better, and not to be complaining, but okay, that complaint I had, but I was benefiting because of this. So you have to have this intricate relationship of how one would connect to each other. And the nature, if you look at it, Jijimuge, that's the word. Ji is event. To say it simple, the fact is happening without any hindrance or any problem. Because what is manifested is what it is, and they figure out how to manifest. It's just following the law of nature. And that's the foundation of how the laws of nature is manifested. Okay, there may be storm and this and that, but it's just a way of how things happen from the beginning of the universe. Well, we don't have to talk about this beginning and ending of the universe, of black hole and all that fantastic, interesting subject. But whatever happened happens beyond the human imagination, but the way the nature prevails. So it's a fundamental reason of us being here, the magic, the miracle of us living because of that. That's the origin and the heart, as I say. So we need to not to be self-occupied, but hopefully understand there's this miracle, and because of this interaction, interpenetration, and the Jijimuge idea, the magic happened and we exist. And magic is happening continuously that I can live without my thinking, because the nutrition gets distributed, processed, and things happen. That I'm breathing every day. I call every day is my birthday because I'm not making me to live. But the nature, the way of nature is prevailing as a miracle, and it's so natural that we don't appreciate. We are busy about chasing money and fame and egocentric idea. So Prince Shotoku, I think he studied sutras, came from India to China, and I know that he's got books like a Kegon Sutra and a few other sutras. Yuima is another interesting one, especially fond of Zen practitioners. He had left the comments almost 2,000 years ago. And he understood it. It's amazing. It's very deep, and for me it took I'm 76 almost, and I get the taste of it. But as Daisetsu pointed, and this is a point that I believe him because of his deep knowledge and I could relate to my level, and pointing Shotoku was the originator or the starting point in a way of the Japanese Buddhism in those days where there's not much information but some sutras coming from China, originated from India. Not to say that Buddhism is the best religion or anything. What he found, I guess, was the miracle of the teaching, and he could digest it at that level with limited information without the internet or anything, but just few books of sutras. Anyway, harmony. So nature has a harmonic process and interrelationship, interpenetration. And in living being, we have that same nature living. And that's our home, and if we can connect and apply or relate to that subject matter or the principle with the harmony, then you have a harmony in our heart, in our life, and be awakened to realize the magic of the universe and the home that we came from and we are as we live. But the mind creates its own image, and that's the mini-universe, Miniverse, I call it, for the sake of us understand how we may see our construct, that the heart is there prevailing, but the mind creates the picture as if on this computer screen, and you see it with the image as the reality, or as if reality, even if it's a created image, in a way a fake or a representation of reality with an interpretation which could be biased because of various reasons behind, so that the world we live in our mind, I call it, that's the universe that we think we live, but there's a heart universe that I was talking about with Dijimuge idea and all the process of miracles happening, which we may not realize because we are so occupied in here. So we need awakening of the relationship of in the mind and in the heart. And the heart is a source of wisdom, creativity, compassion, understanding of the harmony. All that has to be understood. Not just in the mind framework, in principle, but in our being awareness connected to that. So the world with lots of information and digesting and confusion we may go through in our mind, we need to know the heart, home base, where we came from and how we can relate to bring out the wisdom, orientation, understanding of interconnection, interpenetration, relationship, not narrowly focused in certain picture in what I may call the miniverse or mini-universe in each of our mind. And that's real in our mind because that's a projected screen like on the movie. We live in the movie. Where's the reality? And to know that, we need to have a silence, samadhi, insight to come out, which relate to the idea I mentioned, the no mind, no self, to get to the origin. Don't lose the connection. Otherwise, we go wacky. I don't know if that's the English word. Go astray, delusional, and lose ourselves in the space of mini universe. So there's a two dimensions, I said. What we see project in our mind and what's real. And as I mentioned about a mini company and operating and have a destiny in your hand, we need to clarify your mini universe, which is aligned to the heart. Let me see if I'm still on the... Okay, I'm still... All right. So anyway, I was talking about, again, the heart and the mind, heart and brain connection. So let's end this by just have a pause, not come to any conclusion. I think it's fair for us to digest where we are. Without that digestion, the idea of interrelation, interpenetration, harmony may not be understood and may be found foreign because of the immediate dangers or the false or fakeness and habitual pattern we may have developed and not knowing the heart, the connection to our heart. So have a moment of silence. When the mind is busy and confused, let's go back to what I said, the samadhi or no mind and no self state. Okay, it's conceptual now, possibly for many people, but let's explore and possibly digest the idea or intention of the idea and question, well, does it make sense or not? Not jump into any conclusion in your mind. Again, know what's going on. Check what's going on. Act upon it. So Sila and Samadhi, right conduct, and Samadhi, calm and quiet mind, so that we can evaluate or assess the situation to know what's going on. That will bring out the wisdom and compassion from our heart. And we may know the meaning of harmony that Prince Shotoku or originated from the sutras in Buddha's days. Not to mention Buddhism is the way. I'm just talking about beyond the religion, what's the nature, how we relate to it, where is our heart and how you connect and find a way for us to live. Thank you. Have a good day.